What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the latest installment of the 2-Button Brass Excerpt Challenge. My name is Daniel. I'll be your host for today, and today we're diving into one of my favorite horn excerpts of all time. That is the opening call from Till Eulenspiegel by Richard Strauss. Let's dive in. Yeah. So, Till Eulenspiegel. It's a piece that if you've been around for a little bit, you may know that we've already actually performed a bit out of. This was a trombone excerpt from the very end of the piece, which that challenge was won by yours truly, of course. So I don't feel like we need to spend a ton of time talking about the nuts and bolts of the piece today, and we can kind of just jump right into the music. But there are a couple specifics that I want to cover about the excerpt that we have today. So this horn excerpt is the opening call from the very, very beginning of the piece. There's a little bit of some strings and some tunes in the clarinets that happen just before we play, but then we kick off the piece with this first rendition of what is Till Eulenspiegel's theme throughout the entire tone poem. What you will hear is the same theme repeated 2 different times in 2 vastly different styles. So the first time is a little more sneaky, it's a little more suspicious, kind of fits the character of Till Eulenspiegel, who was a kind of naughty, prankster, scoundrel type character. So we kind of sneak in, he's checking out his surroundings, seeing, how things are around him and if he can, get to work being a prankster. As that phrase carries on, it starts to speed up, he gains a little bit of confidence. The phrase is then repeated a second time at a quicker speed, a more consistent tempo, and also a louder dynamic. So this is representing Till Eulenspiegel, really coming out of the shadows. He's no longer sneaking around. He's ready to pull his pranks. And there's a great video on YouTube that we'll link down below or somewhere on the screen here. I'm sure it'll show up, where Sarah Willis, who's a horn player in the Berlin Philharmonic, goes through and talks about this excerpt and gives kind of her view and her pointers. It's really informative, really interesting, and you get to hear her play a little bit too, so definitely check it out. So I think what will be really interesting about this challenge as a whole is that it's, a shorter excerpt. There's not a ton of technical, in terms of, valves or slide challenges that the guys are going to have to face. So it's really going to be coming down to the style of what they present. Do they understand the piece? Do they know what Strauss was going for when he wrote this opening call? Are the dynamics appropriate? Speed changes? All of these things are going to be taken into account when I'm judging all of their attempts. But first, I want to share with you how I would perform Till Eulenspiegel. All right, and we're back from what was hopefully a pristine and lovely performance by myself of Till Eulenspiegel, and we're going to go ahead and jump into these challenges. I say we start with Dr. Cam. Let's see how he does on the tuba.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't show this part, by the way. This is just my mental prep. This is Cam time. This is Cam time.
No promises, buddy.
Hey, Dan. What's up? Really excited to be playing some Strauss. We did the Till Eulenspiegel for trombone a while ago, but I've really kind of liked this horn excerpt as I've listened to it. All right, we're going to jump in to some Till Eulenspiegel, some Strauss, with some horn, Strauss and horn. Always a great combo.
Agreed.
I got 5 minutes on the clock. Starting
Strauss wasn't playing around
now.
when he wrote his horn parts. That's for sure. Yeah.
I think those are all the right notes.
That's going to sound great way down there.
Just
Cool. Yeah. Solid sound. I think his tempos are not, at least so far, not as distinct as they should be between the 2 phrases based on what he just did. Yeah. You still want the first phrase to be a consistent tempo, and they can play a little bit with this tempo, but you want to make sure that you're counting the rhythm properly. So you can't just play whatever rhythm you'd like, but then the second phrase is definitely in tempo, in a specific tempo. Another challenge with this excerpt for everybody involved, but especially for these other guys is going to be the range. It stretches quite a long way. Yeah, and then really full on those last notes. Boom, boom, boom. Full and just solid blocks of sound. So to my ears, it sounds like Cam is holding that long note out just a little too much. That's where a lot of the rhythmic issues come in.
More or less.
Because if you count it out, Strauss wrote a melody in 7/8 that exists within a 6/8 time frame. It's very interesting. This section is written in 6/8, but the tune itself has a total of 7/8 notes all the way through the phrase. So it's very weird and hard to feel. Nice. Good on the rhythm there. So I wonder if that's how he's going to stay with it, because he missed the speed up. There's some German words that I don't have in front of me right now, but you're supposed to speed up through that first phrase. Nice. I like the articulation he's getting. I think it could be a little shorter, maybe a little more compact, but it's light, which I think is good. It's appropriate for the style here.
Like the ringer on, but honestly, I don't think it's too bad. This is one I would like to spend a little bit more time on. I enjoyed this excerpt. I like it. It's a cool little feature.
It's very nuanced.
Anyway,
it's very nuanced.
Here's my final take. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be a little more dramatic with the time and dynamic changes. Interesting. Okay.
And there you go.
There you go.
Hopefully that wasn't too sacrilegious. Very curious to hear your thoughts on this one.
Eventually. There he goes. So, Cameron, yeah. An interesting challenge. This is going to be fun to judge. This is definitely going to be a fun one to judge. So, notes, all there. No problems there. Stylistically, I think there was a bit of room for improvement. I think the first phrase that he played, his tempo ebbed and flowed quite a bit within the phrase, and I think, at least for me personally, it should be a little more consistent. It's gotta be restrained, it's gotta be sneaky and slow to fit the character, but it should more or less feel the same tempo so that you're making sure that you're in time, especially with, as I was talking about, that 7/8 over 6/8 kind of feel. And then you want to speed up towards the end, which I didn't really hear him do. You want to speed up into dee, dom, dom. And those last three notes should more or less be in the tempo of the next phrase. And that's the phrase that's got to be loud, a little more aggressive in the articulation, and more or less stay exactly in time throughout that entire thing. That one you vary the dynamic, which brings the excitement. But yeah, we're moving right along to our next contestant. So then, up next, we're going to see how Alex does with this challenge. I think this is going to be fun. He's got his Ghostbusters shirt on. He's ready to go. He ain't afraid of no ghosts. So we'll see how this goes. Good luck, Alex.
Skib. All right.
Alex.
Is going to be probably my main challenge today. I learned his.
It's good he looked up the words.
Probably.
Yeah. That's an important part of the preparation process is knowing what the composer actually wrote. Yeah. Always look up. If you don't recognize the words in your music, look them up. Find out what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so it's the...
Again, the range of this one is I think going to be a challenge. It almost stretches a full 3 octaves. Just about. Nice. I think he's going to sound great on those low notes. If he keeps the length full, sustained, articulated notes. Yeah, nice. This method he's doing right now is absolutely something that I've done myself. So it's great minds think alike, Alex.
It's a lot easier to arpeggiate going up than it is going down.
Interesting. I would say the exact opposite, I think. Spending an awful lot of time on this arpeggio. I hope he gets into kind of the style of this whole thing. I know the phrase repeats a lot, but there's still lots and lots of nuance. I know one thing that helps me on that arpeggio is if I'm thinking about the phrase continuing all the way through those 3 notes. So if I'm up at the top, ba 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 bom bom bom, so my air will flow with the phrase. I think that helps. Sounds like he's not quite holding those tied notes long enough. That note right there. I think he's cutting it a bit short.
Good lord.
It doesn't need to be too fast. It doesn't need to be, like, insane. But quicker than the opening one. And confident, you know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let the air go. Wild stallions. Sounds like he might be rushing those last notes a little bit, too. Those, right in time. Bee, bomb, bomb. Not going quickly through those.
There she is. Dismiss. All right.
That's not a very excited face.
It's really.
All right, good luck, Alex. All right. Nice stuff, Alex. Well, what to say about Alex there? Definitely notes are there. You know, a couple clips here and there on those arpeggios. I kind of think the range may have been getting to him a little bit. I did like the tempo he started at. It was nice. It was a little sneaky, a little spooky there for Till Eulenspiegel. And then he sped up throughout, which is good. He caught onto that. So maybe it was less the style and more the rhythm that I was taking issue with in this one. And then I think his dotted quarters at the end of the phrases were a little bit rushed. And that led to some of the rests being a bit uncomfortable to count through. But yeah, overall a solid attempt. I think this is one that clearly requires way more than 5 minutes and requires tons of practice. Even though there's not a ton of musical technical difficulty, there's so much you can put into this one. All right, and up last we have our trumpet challenger today, and this one actually may be a bit of a surprise. We have a special guest, a familiar face, our old friend and freshly shaven buzz cut. Chris O'Brien is here to do a challenge. He made it through boot camp with the Navy, and he said, I'm free, I'd love to do this challenge, so here he is. I don't know how much he's been able to play trumpet recently, so this will be fun to see. But I'm super excited to see how this goes. So let's dive right in.
What's up, Tuba fam? It's so good to be back.
It's Chris.
Welcome to my practice cathedral. We got 5 minutes on the clock, starting right now.
So nice to see him again.
So first off, this looks nothing like it sounds. So I'm gonna go just count the rhythm and see if I can get that straight away.
I think this is a good idea. Finding out where those note changes lie in terms of the overall pulse is really tricky. And I appreciate his attention to the rhythm there. It's nice.
A lot of cool stuff going on here. That said, whenever you see German or any weird words, it means do something. So even if I don't have time right now to look it up slow enough to
when you see German words, do something. Great advice. I love it.
On half notes, or sorry.
That practice room is nuts. That is some future technology if I've Oh, poor guy. He's really got to scream up high to get everything in the right octave. Or at least in a consistent octave. I wonder if he's playing on his normal horn or if this is something provided to him by the military. I'm not sure. Sounds like the range is giving him a little bit of trouble, but the articulation he's giving is great. An interesting approach to the challenge here. He's focused on, he's added a lot of stuff that's not in the excerpt itself, this articulation thing he's working on. He's doing it with the proper pitches, but just kind of adding in a new challenge to make the articulation the way he wants, I think is an interesting idea.
And accuracy on that's going to be a little tough, so bear with me, but I hope I can really just nail that low pedal note. And we're at 450, so I'm going to go ahead and just call it right there. I'm ready to go, so let's see how this goes. Till Eulenspiegel, horn excerpt on the trumpet.
All right, good luck to you, Chris. Nice. Awesome.
It's so hard to find that slot, but anyway, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Well done.
It's good to be back. So see you next time.
All right. Wow. Okay. That is nice to see that boy's face again. Oh, man. I think a lot of really good things here. I think from the very beginning, he was really concerned with the rhythm and the style, which is what I was kind of hoping for. Some of the range, I think. So I was expecting that to be a little bit of a challenge. And I think it did cause some problems. That high arpeggio was not as clean as I know it could have been with maybe a little more preparation. But that was, one of the bigger problems I had with his thing was just the cleanliness on that arpeggio. I think he had a good opening style. It was nice and sneaky, subdued, leisurely, as the German says. And there was a little bit of a speed up in that phrase. I think he could have done a little more, make it a little more present. And then the second time, I liked his consistency in the rhythm. Those tied top notes were all pretty close from what I could tell. Maybe intonation a little bit better too. Could have got a couple bonus points from that. But overall, another really good challenge from Chris. So that is everybody, which means it is time to deliberate. So we'll be back in a flash. Okay, and we're back. It's a new day. I've taken some time to go over my notes, listen back to what people have done, and ponder a little bit about this challenge. And I think this is a really interesting one for me to judge. I think because this is such a quintessential and classic horn excerpt, I came into it with a lot of opinions about how things should go, so maybe some of my criticisms were a little harsh. There's definitely some stuff he missed. I think there was kind of a lot left on the table, not as clean as I know it could have been the other day, but that being said, I still think that at this point, after listening back, I've narrowed it down to either being between Chris and Alex today. I would say that everybody did a really great job and all the notes are there, but the two of them had the closest interpretation to what I would expect out of Till Eulenspiegel. Now listening back, there's a couple different ways I could go about judging this one. Thinking about Alex's attempt, I would say that compared to Chris, he was a little bit more note accurate. There were a little bit less chips, and overall I just felt that he was a little more confident in where the pitches were laying on the horn. When it came to Chris, however, I felt that his rhythm was a lot more clear and locked into place when compared to Alex. I was able to count through and follow him really, really easily. Stylistically, they were pretty close. They both caught on to that speeding up in the first phrase and the more confident sounding second phrase. So this one is really pretty much a toss-up in my eyes at this point, and I think I just have to go with my gut feeling on this one. So without further ado, I'm going to declare the winner of the Till Eulenspiegel Horn Excerpt Challenge to be Mr. Chris O'Brien. It really, like I said, could have gone either way. This was a really, really tough one for me to call. And thinking back on it, just going with my gut, I think the rhythm was really what kind of pushed Chris over the top for me. If I was sitting on a judgment panel, I felt like it was really clear and he had a really good idea of what he wanted to do with the excerpt. So did Alex, but I think it was a little more loosey-goosey than I would prefer it to be. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you disagree or want to share your thoughts on today's challenge, please let us know down below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. That's all we have for you today. If you like the content that we're putting out, please like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. And you can look forward to new excerpt challenges and brass quintet covers coming out every single week. Thanks so much. See you in the next one.